Hello there. Welcome to Coming Home. I am your host, Dr. Onalee. I just got off a client call and I have three client calls after this, but I wanted to squeeze in a little podcast for you because I think it's going to be really valuable. A narcissist is a narcissist. If we could really truly believe this statement, we would set ourselves free. Just like an alcoholic who denies that they're an alcoholic, they stay stuck in their addiction. This is why in every meeting you say, "Hi, I'm Onalee. I'm an alcoholic." The reason you do this is because it's your boundary. It's what makes it black or white that you can't drink anymore. If you deny that you're an alcoholic when you're an alcoholic, which there's only two qualifications to be an alcoholic, you either can't quit entirely on your own if you want to, and you can't control the amount you take. You're probably an alcoholic. I truly believe there's millions of alcoholics out there. But if you're an alcoholic that's not calling yourself an alcoholic, you then keep drinking and you keep blowing your life up and your relationships up and your health up. And you keep swearing it off and then you keep doing it again and then you swear it off and then you do it again and then you have a hangover and then you crash and then you say a horrible thing when you're drunk or you throw something, you hit someone, you do something. So calling yourself an alcoholic when you're a real alcoholic is the best thing that you can do because it says, okay, I'm an alcoholic. I admit it. I accept the defeat. And now I will go do the steps and gain a fellowship and get a sponsor and read the big book, all the literature, and do all the things that I need to do to ensure that I don't drink again because I'm allergic to it. I have a disease. So to me, I'm bringing this principle to you around narcissistic relationships because the only reason we keep getting back with the narcissist is because we're in denial that they are a narcissist. We maybe start thinking, we're the narcissist. We're the selfish ones. We acted out of line. That's what every empathetic person does. They overanalyze themselves because they care. They don't want to be a narcissist, so they're hyper conscious and self aware of being a narcissist that they then start to believe and think that they are a narcissist. I'm going to tell you right now, a true narcissist is never sitting there thinking they're a narcissist. Never in a million years are they sitting there going, I hope I'm not the narcissist. I wonder if I'm a narcissist. They are not thinking that way at all. Even the fact that you question it and care shows you are not. You wouldn't be led and drawn to my podcast if you were. Unless you are somebody really, truly 100% diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, which only affects 1 to 5% of the population. And they are the ones who walk themselves into getting treatment because they cannot function in society and they want a solution. The person you're talking about, I guarantee that's not who we're dealing with here. We're dealing with somebody who continuously will beg you to stay or try to get back with you, even though they've cheated on you. There's been infidelity. They've ghosted you. They've lied to you. They've given you the silent treatment. They met somebody else. They dropped you. But yet, when you swear that you're done or you're leaving or gonna really walk away for real or you don't let them back in, they pull out all their cards to try to get you to stay. I call this hope bombing. Some people say this is a different term and all the things, but to me, it's many different forms of certain tactics. But to me, I summarize it with it's hope bombing because it's different than future faking. It's different than breadcrumbing, although it's an aspect of it. The hope bombing of this is that when they've exhausted all options because you're starting to act and behave differently and you're taking it seriously that you're done with them, they will pull out a new kind of tactic or finally do something or say something that you've been wanting them to do this whole time. So they're giving you a dose of hope. The hope that, oh my God, they are capable of doing that thing that I didn't think that they ever would be. And now they're showing me that they can, or they will give me that thing, or step up, or show up, or take me to that place finally. They give you a dose of hope. But here's what happens once they get you back in and they hook you, they go right back to doing what they were doing before. Usually even worse because now they know that they can get away with absolutely anything. They can get away with cheating on you. They can get away with ghosting you. They can get away with lying to you. They can get away with the silent treatment. They can get away with it. And so they also create a certain belief that if they just pull out some trick or say something or do something, that's going to keep you to stay. No matter what, they're going to hook you in and keep you to stay. And they know that. And so this is where my job comes in. This is where I help my clients and help you guys listening to the podcast is to not fall for the hope bomb because the hope bomb never ends. It will go on another 7 years, another 10 years, another 30 years. The hope bomb doesn't stop. What stops the hope bomb and what stops these relationships is you. The narcissist is not going to be the one to fully end this dynamic. It's going to be up to you. This is where a next level of courage and confidence and acceptance that a narcissist is a narcissist needs to come into play. If we are going back and forth on are they a narcissist, are they an avoidant, but they had all this trauma, da 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 da, we've all been there, we've all done that. When you can accept at the very least that this person is unhealthy for your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial well being, then you can start to set yourself free. So, what I want to just remind you, you might want to listen to this podcast episode multiple times if it needs to sink in until it clicks. What I want to remind you is that once they get you back, after they convince you that they're going to change or they do something you've been wanting them to do forever, it's going to go back to how it was before or even worse, especially when they know that they can do anything to you. They can treat you like an object. This is why they keep discarding you and cheating on you. And they never learn their lesson. Narcissists never learn their lesson. They will fumble the bag a million times and still never lose the lesson. Learn the lesson. So I invite you right now to reflect on why do you need to be done with this person? Or why was it the right decision to divorce them or break up with them or go no contact with them? Something I had to do for myself was when I was ending my 4-year situationship was I had to have a post-it note on my desk that says why I closed the door, dot, 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 no text the next day. This person would try to come back every time I would close the door. And I would even say, I'm looking for a relationship, or it seems, that's not what you're wanting, whatever, yada, yada. He'd be okay with it. But then a few weeks later, or a week later, or however much time, months, 7 months later, sometimes, this went on for 4 years for me, by the way. He would reach back out and he would want to get together. And, especially after some time passed, or I tried to date other people, or I didn't meet anybody, and I knew I was always very physically attracted to him, I would reopen the door. And then the same thing, he would get me and it would be fun. We'd have a great time together. I would never hear from him the next day. And sometimes multiple days after. And I would share with him each time, like, oh, I'd love to hear from you, until finally I stopped doing that. So then it was about a year of I didn't do that anymore, but I would block him every time when he wouldn't reach out. And then I would unblock him, as we all do, right? And then he would reach back out as if nothing happened and we'd be cool again. And same thing, we never fought, we never argued with any of this. It was just a blocking, unblocking kind of game. But for me, my final one was where I had to finally accept that this was insanity. Had an awesome time together. The next day, I just don't even hear from them the whole freaking day. And they were like convincing me the time before, like they're stopping drinking less, stopping smoking less. They're, trying to not sleep around, save for a house. They're starting to pray more, right? Music to my ears, which is what I help a lot of my clients with. Don't fall for music to your ears, because the sound of that produces so much hope. And as humans, especially empaths, we have so much hope. We have hope in a future. We have hope in them. We have hope in our dream life. We have hope in life. We have hope in people. So narcissists are very good at hooking us with their hope. So he hooked me with some hope. And so I got all excited and I'm feeling on top of the world. And the next day, oh, of course, this time he's definitely going to reach out. Nothing. Nothing. And it was 11 p.m. that night. And usually I would wait till the next day and let's just see. But you know what I realized? Because I was so hyper conscious of my pattern and my addiction to this person by this point, I went, you know what? Even if he does text me the next day, is that really who I want to be with? Somebody who's so fine with going the whole day the next day, not even saying hi, and not even out of obligation, like, because that's what they probably need to do if I want to see them again. But out of not even wanting to. That was where I just kind of felt sick. I was like, he doesn't even want to say hi. Like, he doesn't even want to say good morning. Like, he's checking himself out. He's the one making this decision. He can't do the basic bare minimum. And I would be so foolish to stay with a guy that does that. Can't even say hi the next day. And so I decided, that was it for me. That was the final straw. I had to be okay with, him finding his dream girl or the girl he would text the next day or what he used to do for me in the beginning. It got to that point where I had to trust myself and know that I wasn't being too sensitive. I wasn't asking for too much. To me, that was the bare bones because that's a narcissist or an avoidance game, right? That's breadcrumbs. You wait around all day for the text. You don't get the text. So then when they do give you the basic bare minimum text message, it feels like such a hit of ecstasy. And I realized that's what was happening. I was like, I feel like a drug addict here, like waiting for a hit of cocaine, like crack, because this person can go a whole day when I had tons of men who would text me all the live long day. Tons of them treated me like a queen. So I knew what I was worthy of. I knew what I was capable of attracting. And so I had to let go of being like a teenager, wanting the one guy who doesn't want her back or won't commit to her, wanting him when all these other suitors and men, were pursuing. And that comes with an acceptance that this person is a narcissist or this person is unhealthy, or at the very least, this person is not an ideal life partner. And it's really choosing yourself and deciding you deserve more. Don't you deserve more than having a guy who can't text you the next day after sleeping with you? And I know this might not be your exact story, or maybe it is your exact thing, and you're nodding your head like, oh my God, is she in my head? Like, how does she know this? I'm just speaking truth. Truth is the highest frequency, it resonates with all of us. But I want you to insert in then whatever your pattern is. If there's been infidelity, cheating, lying, you find out they're liking other girls' photos, they have pictures or text messages, whatever it is. I hear all the things. Whatever your pattern is, your dynamic, what I want you to take a look at is being honest with yourself of, is it actually going to change? Or how many times have you gone through it? And don't beat yourself up if you had that last time. Like that last final time with him for me was after I thought I had had a last final time with him, but it eventually was the final time. Just like with me for drinking, the last final time I thought was my last final time wasn't my final time until it was my final time. So I'm very big on, it takes as many times as it needs to take. And each time you're planting a seed and each time you're listening to a podcast like this, it's giving you more clarity. And I'm here to just remind you, like if I could tell you all of the stories of all my clients over the past 7 years, it would really help you with realizing that you're not alone in what you're going through, and their patterns, their dynamics, what they do, their behavior, it's not any different. They don't change. It goes on for years and years and years. And the only way it will end is if we end it. If not, it would go on another year. I'm sure my situationship would have gone on another year if I wasn't the one to close the door. That was my spiritual assignment. That was my spiritual lesson. That's more of what I talk about in the No More Narcissist 4-step program, is my actual deep process and healing to fully close the door. That's where we take an inventory of ourselves. That's where we see our pattern. That's where we see our part in it. So my part with this person, the main thing was that I had a wound of not feeling chosen. So this person obviously brought up a feeling in me that I don't feel fully chosen. And so that was very addicting because it was almost like the little girl within me wanted to close this loop of when I, as a little girl, had a time where I didn't feel chosen. And it's like she was wanting to close this loop and have the story end differently. But the way that we close the loop is we choose ourselves. We pick ourselves, and we do that by walking away from somebody who's not choosing us. And that's how I close the cycle. That's how I close the loop. I had to choose myself and stop being attracted to somebody who's not choosing me, and to be okay with the hurt and the pain and the isolation, the loneliness that might follow suit, the lack of hope that might follow of, well, I don't know when I'm going to meet somebody or how long it's going to take, or I haven't been attracted to somebody in years. That's the whole point of faith, my friend. That's what faith is, not being able to see your desire, but know that you have it within your heart to be with your soulmate or your life partner or just to be happy. But I'm pretty sure, you know, if you've been attracted to my work, there's a dream and a desire within you for a soulmate, like your happy ending, what you've been dreaming and desiring for with the narcissist, that you get to have it with the actual person you're meant to be with. And that's what faith is. It hasn't happened yet, and it's only meant to be with one person. So, my intention is to inspire you to create hope within yourself, to love yourself, to choose yourself, to respect yourself, to know that you're worth so much more, and to really accept the narcissist as the narcissist and that they're never going to change. And even if they did, not under your timeline anymore, not at your expense. It could be another year, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I don't know. But a lot of people never see that day. I haven't seen it happen yet. I have not seen it work with a single client. There was one time where I challenged myself on this because a client of mine had gone back to the narcissist. They started dating again. It seemed pretty good. And I was like, okay. Until, she just came back and we've been doing some work together. And that really just proved to me I've never once seen, and I've worked with thousands of clients. I've never once seen it work when somebody gets back with somebody that they once blocked or closed the door from. And even I had a little hope with J-Lo, right? It's like I really just don't see it. I really don't see it. There's obviously a few. There's a pastor I know, and there's like one motivational speaker, but I also don't know how happy and healthy their relationships are, like where they broke up, got back together, all the things. And I know, you might challenge me on stories, but I'm talking to people, right? You're addicted and attracted to narcissistic or avoidant people. So let's just focus on the person who is really just genuinely not healthy for you. And so what my work is to really just help you close the door and to keep it closed. And all of the ways where I know how to give you my full process that I took myself through, my clients through, are the 4 steps. So if that interests you, it's at the time of this recording, it's $47 for lifetime access. There's modules, there's journal prompts, there's 14 bonus videos. Any updates or upgrades I make, you get them. So that's what I would encourage as your next step. And at this time, too, I am sponsoring a few women. At the time of the recording, I have 8 spots left to go through the 4 steps with me, 1-to-1 for 1 month. We will do a weekly call corresponding to each step, and you'll get 1 month of in between text and voice note support to ask me any questions, share any breakthroughs. So at the time of the recording, the normal investment is $997 for this, but for the next 8 people, it's going to be $498. So shoot me a message on Instagram so that you can get the private code if it is still active. But if not, I just invite you to, really plug into this work, stay connected. You're worthy of your transformation. You're worthy of your healing. You're worthy of your freedom. It is on the other side of you coming home to yourself and you choosing yourself. I trust that you've been drawn here to this podcast for a reason. And it is my intention to support you and to guide you. So I look forward to serving you more, and I will be seeing you on the next episode.